Hi everybody, it is me, the fabulous Leo Brown. Sorry, I had to take this out of my ears. It's me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I'm on here to talk about Bob Romanik. I think that's his name. So, okay, so if you live in St. Louis, or even if you don't, there was a story about a um, radio personality, AM radio personality that is apparently using racial slurs on the air. So I live in St. Louis. I've been living in St. Louis since for almost 20 years. And I've never heard about this person until yesterday. So the person's name is Bob Romanik, and he has a radio station called KQQZ. I think that's the name of it. And on the show, he uses racial slurs. And this all started when, or on his show, this all started when Waka Flocka Flame. And shout out to James Caldwell, who actually, I found out about the story through him. I found it out through Spiller Boy. So shout out to James. I love you, James. Love you to pieces. So, anywho, so this all started when Waka Flocka, I think he was performing. I don't know if he was performing here, but he was performing, and a guy brought up a Donald Trump T-shirt, and Waka Flocka uh, Waka Flocka basically wiped his bare ass with it, and the guy didn't seem to care. The guy was like, "Hey, he did it, whatever, whatever." Um, which I find that kind of gross. But anywho, so he did it, and apparently Bob Romney got a hold of it, became very upset, and started calling, Waka Flocka all kinds of, greasy niggers and nigga this, nigga that. And I don't like to use this word because I don't feel that anyone should use it. I don't feel that it's a black word. I don't feel that it's a white word. I don't feel that it's a word. It's a word of ignorance. It's a word of hate. And it's a word that no one should use. That's just my personal opinion. And, uh, he's been, and this is not the first time he's been on the fire, this person, Bob Romney. But, apparently this whole controversy got him a lot of press. And so much so that the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, came in and was like, okay, let's see what we can do. But the FCC came in and he's still in the air. He still has sponsors. Nobody's pulled out from the show. Nothing. And the reason I think that this is not the first time that this has happened is because it's not. Excuse me, this man is a notorious racist. He has been for years. And actually, he's not a St. Louis radio DJ. He's actually in Fairview Heights, which for me is about 15 minutes from where I actually am currently living. I live in a city called Shiloh, so it's about 15 minutes from me, 15, 20, give or take. And what gets me about this is that nobody in St. Louis is like no one is batting an eyelash. Nobody, nobody's talking about it except for maybe the Riverfront Times, and I think all they're doing really is giving him press. I really want I need a moment with the Riverfront Times. I really need y'all to stop giving this motherfucker press. He's not worth it. Now, from a constitutional standpoint, because I can hear it now. Well, he has a right to say it, which is true. I mean, he even said that he's not shutting down his station. He's not stopping. He's going to continue to say the slurs, and in fact, he said he's going to just start playing country music on his station. All American country music. Even though country music wasn't, if you really want to know, Bobby Honey, country music was invented by black folks. But whatever, you don't really want to know. Country music, blues, I mean rock and roll, jazz, on and on. I could go on and on. I really could. I could really educate you. But he says he's not going to stop saying what he's saying because he has the right to freedom of speech. And technically, he's right. Technically, he's not lying. That's true. You do have a right to say what you want. You do. He's not really breaking any laws. However, you are on a public forum. And there are certain things on a public forum you cannot say. Same way with me. I can say what I want to say on YouTube. But if I come out and see, this is what gets me too, is this double standard. So let's reverse this. Let's say if it was Charlemagne the God, and Charlemagne the God got on the St. Louis radio station and started downplaying all white people or let's not make it white folks. All Mexican people or all Native American Indian people or all Eastern or Southern Indian people. He would be out of town before you could say hello. So what makes Bob so different? Oh, I know. Bob has money. Because I've done a little research. Bob owns a radio station. Well, technically his wife owns the station. This man has tried to run for some form of office here in St. Clair County. He's lost horribly. He views black people as tokens. He's a very well known racist. He's tried to give black people money or buy us off. And this is what gets me about the black people in this area. And I'm not saying that all black people, or that some of black people have not tried to solve the issue with him. They have, I'm pretty sure. But there's not enough stink. And the one thing about this is that it's made me see just how backwards and how Southern, even though I'm in a Midwestern city and state, but how Midwestern, or not Midwestern, how Southern, if you get what I'm saying, St. Louis is. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't know that there are racists everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. But for this man to continue to do his job, and nobody raised an eyelash, nobody saying nothing, nobody in the radio community says nothing. I know people that work in radio. And you're not saying anything about this? Nothing? Because this man has a little bit of power and a little bit of privilege. And, but it's AM. Nobody listens to AM radio. You'd be surprised. And all he's doing is fueling ignorance and prejudice. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Ignorance and prejudices. That's all he's doing. Which I find quite sad. Because with what's going on in the world, with the way people are cutting up a whole fucking fool, this is the last thing we need. And see, the thing of it is, Bob, and I'm directing this to you, Mr. Romanik. No, I'm not gonna call you that because you don't deserve respect. Bob, okay? See, your problem is you don't want to deal with an educated person of color. Regardless if they're black, if they are Latino, if they are Southern, South Asian, you don't want to deal with that. You have gotten used to black people who shuck and jive, which unfortunately a lot of people in this area, not all, and for my fellow St. Louisans, please comment below. But not all St. Louisans act this way, but majority of it. The St. Louisans that I've run into since I've been living here, and I've been living here for almost 20 years, some of them fit the stereotype very well. Not all, but some do. And see, that's what you're used to, Bob. You're used to folks who shuck and jive, folks who won't do anything, folks who are afraid of you because you have a little clout and a little power, And then you have the nerve to be when people when actually when a black man who happens to be already a personality himself called you, you were so condescending and so belittling to him. And oh, well, aren't you proud to be black? Aren't you a proud black man? You know what? You can miss me with that bullshit. I know what you were trying to do, trying to bait him. Race bait. That's what you were doing. Let's be real. I'm not stupid. Okay? But see, that's your problem. And see, even this goes out to the guy who called him. First of all, I don't get this. Why are you, as a black man, calling this man? Why are you talking to a brick wall? Why are you not going up above his head? Because I'm pretty sure there's somebody up above him, even though he owns the station, or his wife, excuse me. Because you really don't own shit. But let's be real. I know there's somebody up above his head that can get him off the air. Nobody wants to rein this man in. What are we afraid of? What is this man hiding that we don't know? See, but see, you don't want, but like I said, you don't want an educated black person, especially a black man, to come and call your cookie. And I may be cursing right now. I may be a little heated. But trust me, honey, from the Waffle House to the White House, I know how to converse very well. And I don't have to curse at you to get my point across, to read you for filth. Bob. Okay? You are an old, insecure, bitter person. And I'm going to be honest. I would be feeling this way if this person were black. And it was reversed. And he was doing this with white people. Because quite frankly, I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anyone. I may not agree, or I may not like you for the actions you do, but I will never hate you because, first of all, that's too much time and energy, and I don't have that kind of time, nor do I want to invest that kind of energy in hating you. But something has to be done about this because whether people know it or not, there are people that listen to him, that agree with him, that think it's cute, that want him to go even further than what he's doing. I mean, they do. And St. Louis, if you've ever been here, it's already segregated. It's been segregated since I've lived here. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's integrated, but you can tell blacks live here. Like even though we work together, we interact with one another. Blacks live here, whites live here. Like we have our own little sub areas. Blacks live here, whites live here, Latinos live here, uh, Bosnians live here. I mean, it's a very segregated city. Very. And racist too. Excuse me. So really and truly, it doesn't surprise me. I'll just be honest. It doesn't. But at the same time, this shouldn't be allowed to happen. Because if this was reversed, he would not be on. If he were black, if this man were black, if Bob Romanik were black, regardless of his money, he wouldn't be on the air. Let's be honest. He would not be here. But like I said, you don't want a person that is educated, that'll really read you for filth. You don't want that. But you like calling us we greasy niggas though. You know, you think it's cute to call us niggers and say all these things and you know and belittle us with words. You think it's nice to stand behind a microphone, but I doubt you would say it to a person's face because you would probably get the shit. Well, not probably, you would. You would get the shit beat out of you. or you would get ready for filth. And to the man who called into his show, you tried, sir. You tried. You know, well, you shouldn't say that on the radio, but at the same time, you justified what he was saying. You rationalized it. You made it okay. And as a person of color, as a black man, I found that to be very sad that you see so little of yourself. Now, I know that probably wasn't your intention, but that's what you did. I am not a fan of this man. I think he needs to be off the air. I think this man is a nuisance. And others and those that think like him are no good. They're no good to society. What do you offer? What do you offer? What can you offer? Please tell me. And I wish somebody would call me a nigga to my face. Go ahead, call me one. Cause trust me, you get that in out one time and it'll be your ass. Now granted, I'm no fighter, but I don't believe that. You're not gonna disrespect who I am. Because I'm not that. I'm not a nigga. I'm not a nigga. I'm not any of that. And I don't care if you're black, white, green, blue, or purple. That's a word I will not tolerate in my presence. And like I said, to the black people of St. Louis, stand to be counted. Stand for something. In this situation, this needs to be on the news. This needs to be, I mean, why don't you protest this? I'm just saying. Why don't you march for something like that? I mean, here's the thing. If you can march in the memory of Michael Brown, why not march in the memory of something like, or not in the memory, but march for something like this? This affects you too. Because it basically gives people who listen to this an okay to have a fear of the unknown, of what they don't know. To fear someone just because of the color of their skin. That's what it does. And that's not good. That's not right. With the way this world is right now, that's the last thing we need. So hopefully somebody will get on this and say something. I wanted to come on and say something because I felt that it needed to be said. And like I said, shout out to James for telling me about this. Um, for making, even though I had heard about this before him, but when he made a video, I said, you know what, I think I'm gonna talk about this too, because I heard about this before him. I had read about it in Riverfront Times, and people are like, well, you're giving him more press. Okay, I agree with that. They shouldn't give him press, but at the same time, why aren't people saying something about this? Why aren't we getting up in arms? We get up in arms about everything else. Why don't we talk about this? Because you don't know how the power of words, the things you hear, the things you listen to, the music, you don't know how they can affect people. So, personally, Bob, I don't care for you. I don't like you. I don't like you or your kind of people. I don't like your philosophy. You are full of shit. You are uneducated. But you're one of those people who think you know everything, but really you know nothing. And it's a good old saying, he who knows the least always speaks the loudest. And that's exactly what you're doing. So, and like I said, though it doesn't surprise me, because I'm not shocked. I'm not. I've been in this city long enough to know this city is racist as shit. It really is. It's racist as hell. So it doesn't surprise me. But at the same time, it should not be allowed. Because like I said, let that be reversed. Or better yet, let it be a woman who said it, and she happens to be a woman of color. Let's reverse it and bring something else into play, a gender. Let it be a woman VJ, and she said that on the radio, on like 106.5 or um I'm trying to think of another one, or 95.5 or 100.3. Those St. Louis radio stations. You know, what if it was a woman who said this? about white people, she would lose her job. She would lose her job. She would not be able to work anywhere. Okay? But yet, this man, because he has a little bit of money, a little bit of clout, and he quote unquote owns the station, nobody's pulling out, no sponsors. He can still work. The FCC has come, even though they came in and did a little investigation, he can still work. He can still have a job. But let that be me. I wouldn't be working if it were me, if I were in radio. Even if I owned the station. They would find some loophole to get me out. So what you trying to say? That it's okay you can be a racist asshole as long as you're white and you have a little money? That power and privilege matter more than having a voice that can do some good, that can help the community? Because that's what radio is. Radio is a way of bridging, not bridging gaps, but keeping the community aware. That's what radio was for. But this racist man can be on radio. Okay, unbelievable. But I mean, but we do have a racist presidency in cabinet. So like I said, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. But that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to come in and talk about that. So I want to know what you think about this Bob Romanik thing. Do you think he should be on the air still? How would you go about getting him off the air if you had the power to? What would you do? And if you are a St. Louis in the comments, please comment below. Tell me what you think about this because I want to know. I want to hear from y'all. That was just my thoughts on the situation. I find it to be sad because, like I said, St. Louis is already a hotbed. It always has been of unjust, of discrimination. But this is just gonna make it worse. That's just my personal opinion. And to Bob Romanik, honey, you don't want it with me. You really don't. You don't want it with me. And I am not greasy. I'm not dirty. I'm definitely not any of the things you think I am. And I will not kowtow. And I will not step in fist to you. I'm a very well-educated, sophisticated man who just happens to be black. How about that? So, that's all I had to say. So until next time, darlings, it is me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I will talk with you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.